Okay, let's just jump right in. What if I told you there's a new way to make clean hydrogen fuel that wastes almost zero energy? I mean, we are talking about a machine that is hitting nearly perfect, 98% efficiency. This could literally change everything for clean energy. It's a question you've probably asked yourself, right? I mean, hydrogen is everywhere, and when you burn it, all you get is water. It's the perfect fuel. So, what's the holdup? Well, it turns out it pretty much boils down to one simple, really stubborn problem. And that problem? It's the price tag. It all comes down to cost. Right now, green hydrogen, that's the good stuff made from water using renewables, is going to cost you anywhere from $4 to $6 a kilogram. The dirty stuff from fossil fuels, $1 to $2. To really make this hydrogen dream a reality, we have got to close that gap. So why the huge price difference? Well, here's the kicker. It's all about wasted energy. The old way of splitting water to get hydrogen has just been shockingly inefficient. Until now. So, to really appreciate just how big a deal this new breakthrough is, we need to take a quick look at the old way of doing things. You see, for more than 100 years, we've been stuck with the same fundamental problem. And this right here, this is the scene of the crime. This is your standard old-school electrolyzer. When the electricity splits the water, you get these bubbles of hydrogen and oxygen gas forming all over the electrodes. Now you might think, hey, bubbles, it's working. But no, that's actually where everything goes wrong. You see, those tiny little bubbles act like an insulating blanket. They literally get in the way, blocking fresh water from touching the electrode where the magic is supposed to happen. This means you have to pump in way more electricity just to power through that bubble barrier. And all that extra energy, it's just wasted as heat. And this has been a problem for a long time. The first major designs back in the 1920s were only about 50 to 60% efficient. The next generation in the 60s got a little better, maybe 70 to 80%, but they had a new catch. They needed super expensive platinum to work. So you just ended up trading one expensive problem for another. But what if you could just get rid of the bubbles? What if you could design a system where bubbles never even form in the first place? Well, an Australian company called Hysata did just that, and their solution is a total game changer. The secret is something you see every single day: capillary action. You know how a paper towel just sucks up a spill, pulling that liquid up into its fibers almost like magic? That's capillary action. Hysata have figured out how to use that exact same principle to deliver water to their system. And check this out. This is how it works. Instead of dunking the electrodes in a big tub of water, they use this special porous membrane in the middle. It just wicks the perfect amount of water directly to the surface of the electrode. The gas then gets created on the dry side of the electrode, totally separate from the water. No water, no bubbles. It's beautiful. So what happens when you get rid of the bubbles? What's the result? Get ready for this. A mind-blowing 98% energy efficiency. That is practically perfect. Almost no electricity is wasted. It's about as close as you can get to a perfect conversion of electricity into hydrogen fuel. Now, to put that number into perspective for you, Hysata's system only needs about 40 kilowatt hours of power to make 1 kilogram of hydrogen. Most of the commercial systems out there today, they're chugging along at around 53 kilowatt hours. This isn't just a small step forward, it's a giant leap. In fact, their performance is so ridiculously good that they have already smashed the global efficiency targets that were set for the year 2050. Let that sink in. They are decades ahead of schedule. Okay, but a claim that extraordinary needs some extraordinary proof, right? In the world of science, the ultimate test is replication. Can somebody else build it and get the same results? So, a team of researchers at the Eindhoven University of Technology over in the Netherlands decided to take on that exact challenge. They took Hysata's published research and tried to build their own version from scratch. But their results, well, they were not even in the same ballpark. While Hysata was hitting that incredible 98% mark, the Eindhoven team's machine barely managed to get to 55%. That is a massive difference. Which, of course, brings up the big question: why? What happened? If the idea is so simple, how could a university research team get it so wrong? Well, it turns out the devil is in the details. And this graph basically tells the whole story. It all came down to that porous membrane in the middle. You're looking at what's called ohmic resistance. You can just think of it as electrical friction. Hysata's special membrane, that blue line way down at the bottom, has almost no friction for electricity. The membrane the Eindhoven team used had way more resistance, and it just bled energy, completely killing their efficiency.
So it seems like the real secret sauce is in the material science. And now that Hysata has proven their design works, they are moving at lightning speed to take this thing from a science experiment to a global industrial product.
And let's be super clear here, this isn't just a cool idea in a lab anymore. This technology is pulling in serious cash from some of the biggest players in the energy world. I mean, just look at this timeline. The company was only started in 2021. Just a few years later, in 2024, they raised over $100 million, with BP's venture fund leading the way. And now they're signing deals with industrial giants like POSCO in South Korea and ACWA Power in Saudi Arabia to start building these things for real. So let's just break down the key differences here. Hysata hits that incredible 98% efficiency, partly because they run their system hotter at an optimal 85 degrees Celsius. The university prototype was running at room temp and crucially used that high-resistance membrane, which is why they only got to 55%. It just goes to show, while Hysata's big challenge now is just scaling up, the university's attempt proves how absolutely vital the exact materials and conditions are. So what's the big takeaway from all this? First, in the hydrogen world, efficiency is everything. Just designing out those bubbles saved a huge amount of energy. Second, materials matter, big time. The right membrane was the difference between a breakthrough and a bust. And finally, the next big hurdle for Hysata isn't about the science anymore. It's about the engineering. How do you mass produce this thing? Which leaves us with the billion-dollar question. For decades, we've known that the high cost and wasted energy of electrolysis was the main thing holding back a true hydrogen economy. So, has this simple, elegant, bubble-free design finally found the key to unlock it all?